Welcome to the Randy Report. I'm Randy Slovacek, your host. I'm also the writer and editor of therandyreport.com, where you can find me every single day on the internet reporting on the daily news cycle in terms of politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community and its allies. In this week's LGBTQ headlines, a research team in Australia has announced a significant breakthrough in the search for a cure for HIV. The Trump administration has quietly made official its plan to eliminate a federal suicide prevention lifeline for LGBTQ youth. A new Gallup poll breaks down how Americans feel about trans athletes and how they compete. Plus, I celebrate Pride Month with Matt Zarley's award-winning Change Begins With Me, a heartfelt anthem of self-acceptance. All that and more in this episode of The Randy Report. A research team in Melbourne, Australia, has announced a significant breakthrough in the search for a cure for HIV. One of the main roadblocks in developing a cure has been finding a way to isolate the virus as it hides among white blood cells. This means there's a reservoir of HIV in the body, capable of reactivation, that neither the immune system nor drugs can tackle. Researchers from the Peter Doherty Institute for Infection and Immunity in Melbourne have demonstrated a way to make the virus detectable, paving the way to fully clear it from the body. The method is based on mRNA technology, which became prominent during the pandemic when it was used in COVID vaccines. In a paper published in Nature Communications, the researchers found that mRNA can be delivered into the cells where HIV is hiding by encasing it in a tiny, specially formulated fat bubble. The mRNA then instructs the cells to reveal the virus. Paula Saval, a research fellow at the Doherty Institute and co-author of the study, told The Guardian that while a cure is still years away, we have never seen anything close to as good as what we are seeing in terms of how well we are able to reveal this virus. An estimated 40 million people are living with HIV around the world who, for now, must take specialized meds for the rest of their lives to keep the virus in check. Those with undetectable levels of HIV are able to stop the progression to symptoms and prevent transmission to others. As hundreds of thousands gathered in the nation's capital to celebrate World Pride, elsewhere in Washington, D.C., the Trump administration quietly made official its plan to eliminate a federal suicide prevention lifeline for LGBTQ youth. The proposed 2026 budget for the Department of Health and Human Services confirms the administration's intent to eliminate all funding for the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline's LGBTQ youth specialized services. The move finalizes a draft proposal leaked in April, which drew swift condemnation from mental health experts and advocates who say it will endanger the lives of queer and trans youth. Codified initially into law during Trump's first term with bipartisan support, the LGBTQ youth subnetwork within 988 was launched in 2022 and allows callers to press 3 or text PRIDE to reach affirming counselors. These services accounted for more than 1.3 million crisis contacts. The Trevor Project, one of 7 centers in the LGBTQ subnetwork, handled nearly 50% of the volume in 2024 and trained more than 250 crisis counselors. The Trevor Project estimates that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ youth in the U.S. seriously consider suicide each year. A new Gallup poll shows some 2/3 of Americans want sports events segregated based on gender assigned at birth. Asked if transgender athletes should only be allowed to play on sports teams that match their birth gender, about 69% of Americans agreed with the statement. By comparison, only 24% agree that transgender athletes should be able to play on sports teams that match their current gender identity. 90% of Republicans and 72% of self-described independents support birth certificate gender restriction, while just 41% of Democrats do. 45% of Democrats say trans athletes should be able to play on sports teams that match their identity. 4 years ago, 62% of Americans felt sports participation should depend on gender assigned at birth. But by 2023, that number rose to 69%, where it remains. The Gallup poll also found 66% of those polled agreed with the statement, people should be required to list their birth sex on government documents such as driver's licenses or passports. That includes 89% of Republicans, 66% of independents, and 38% of Democrats. A slim majority of Democrats, 54%, believe individuals should be able to list their current gender identity on government documents. I believe that government-issued IDs, like driver's licenses and passports, should reflect a person's gender identity. Consider the needless confusion that would be caused at airport security or during a traffic stop for people who have transitioned if their ID shows a different gender than how they present or express themselves. Billboard recording artist and Broadway veteran Matt Zarley has received critical acclaim as an out LGBTQ artist for years. So, Pride Month seems like a great time to revisit his award-winning single, Change Begins With Me. It's worth noting that Zarley was never closeted as an artist. Long before it was considered brave to come out, Zarley proudly took center stage, no mask, no hiding. In a 2019 Instagram post in honor of Pride Month, he wrote, "When I released my very first recording in 2002, I was out. I've always been out. I was out when some called it brave and a risk to be out. I was just being me." In 2012, Change Begins With Me won the Out Music Awards for Single of the Year and the Album of the Year. Also, did you know Zarley was the first ever out gay man to be included in People magazine's Hottest Bachelor issue? Let's take a listen to Matt Zarley's Change Begins With Me.
Hey, I used to fall so fast, I'd give everything I had. They'd take it, give them my heart, and they would break it. But that was then, and now I'm standing tall. It's all beneath me. This strength somehow freed me. It's like I've turned a new page, and finally I can see it now. It's all so clear. All my answers were always here. I was so blind, but now I see that if I want my life to change, the change begins with me. With me. Hey, yeah. I've made mistakes, and I've been so ashamed that I made them. But I've learned and I won't repeat them. No, I won't search for someone or something to try to fulfill me. Honoring myself has healed me. Oh yes, I've turned a new page, and finally I can see it now. It's all so clear. Oh yeah, all my answers always here. I was so blind, but now I see that if I want my life to change, but now I see. If I want my life to change, the change begins with me. I can see.
And that brings me to the end of this episode of The Randy Report. If you enjoy catching up on LGBTQ news in a quick podcast, I'd appreciate it if you'd share it with your friends. Plus, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I like to think of The Randy Report as the 60 minutes of gay news, only shorter. And remember, you can find me every single day on the internet at therandyreport.com, where I cover the daily news cycle in terms of politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBTQ community and its allies. Thanks for listening, folks. Take care of yourselves, have a happy Pride Month, and I'll see you next time.